All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. David Roy, Paul Longoria here in the broadcast booth with you as, I would say always, but I was out last week. So as per will be the usual or the standard that we set last season, we return to you here tonight. And we're coming off a loss for Austin High on the road. By the way, 2 straight road games to start the season. Not exactly what you'd like on the schedule.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later tonight, I'm sure. But not the loss that you hope to have. I talked to Coach Cecil yesterday, and one of the things we talked about that we brought up was as you have these seniors, and you have quite a few seniors on the roster, but not a lot of varsity experience among those seniors. So you're trying to have to offset the experience. They're having to learn a new offensive scheme, new terminology.
Yeah.
All of that is coming to bear on here. There's a lot of moving parts from one season to the next that's trying to be offset in a short amount of time.
Correct. And sometimes the classifications can be a little misleading. You're talking about there are a lot of seniors, but really it's more a product of how many snaps are returning. You know, how much experience do you have of actual game time as opposed to say, well, we've got, you know, this many number of seniors, which, again, sounds like a good number, but if there's not a lot of productivity and stuff, doesn't mean they can't do it, but they're not really bringing a lot of experience. They're just bringing years in the program, but not, varsity experience.
Only 3 returning starters on the offensive side of the ball alone, and most of your offensive line has been totally reconfigured from what it was a season ago. The only one among them that had any playing experience, August Young, who's your right tackle for tonight, and that's it. Everybody else is pretty much new. Alonso Garcia maybe being the only other one on that list. Otherwise, it's all brand new.
Yeah, and when, again, as I talked about, when you lose that many snaps from that sort of group that requires a lot of cohesion and stuff like that, it's really hard to just produce an offensive line in the matter of one off season. And for the first half of the season, there's going to be a lot of trying to gel and learn and so forth. So it was a tough loss last week. I didn't think they played. I didn't think the Maroons played poorly in the first half. I think the game was right there, but really the second half things just got away from them, turnovers, penalties, and they just couldn't move the ball, and Canyon just put it on them in that second half.
Well, we saw that a few times in non-district play last season for them, that Temple game being one of those that sticks out.
Yes.
And they had a lot of those seniorities there, right? You know, they had all that experience. Bryson Batts, you had John Latham being a part of it. They had all that experience trying to bring it all together, and even then, a couple turnovers, a couple bad bounces, it just gets away from you. Tonight, on the other hand, though, we'll see if they can do what Coach Cecil wants to do, which is get his players playing fast. And that's hard to do when you're having to think through the terminology and you're having to think through the plays, but he's trying to get them to a point where they can just go play. They don't have to think about it. They play fast, and that's been a common refrain. If you've been paying attention to any football this summer, from the NFL down to college, the whole refrain has been just play fast.
Play fast, and you play fast by knowing a system, already knowing where you need to be. You don't have to think about it, and that frees you up to play fast. And I think what we saw last week with Canyon brought back a lot of experience. Canyon had a really solid team last year going to the third round of the playoffs before they lost by a field goal. So they brought back a really good team, and it may have taken them a little while to take control of the game, but you saw it in the second half where they were really flying the ball and executing as to how they know how.
We'll see if this Maroon squad can maybe show a little know-how themselves. We've talked about that offensive side, all the different starters across the offensive line. We've talked a lot, too, about the idea of playing fast and some of the changes. Well, some of the other changes that you're going to see tonight is the new on-field communication. Now the coaches up here, they can talk direct to the players onto the field. Didn't have that before. The UIL trying to be more in line with the college, get these kids ready for the next level. Part of that is the 2-minute timeout or the 2-minute warning that you might know it from the NFL days. Apparently, there's some dispute as to whether or not that's trademarked.
Well, I was gonna warn you. Let's watch out for the warning. 2-minute warning.
It's not trademarked.
It's not trademarked.
I went and looked this up. Well, when we were up in Ohio last week, we went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and we got to talking about it. So we went and we Googled it. A trademark was filed, but it never got approved.
No, okay.
So, okay. It's not official yet. But apparently the NCAA was warned, just don't use it if you can.
And if for some reason or another, if it does slip, I don't know if Goodell would send anybody down here to Kelly Reeve Stadium to talk to us.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, well, it's just kind of going to be force of habit, I think, right? And,
it does sound odd saying the 2-minute timeout.
It does a little bit. I mean, it's got a nice little alliteration to it, but it just sounds bizarre.
Maroons, you might remember, took this game in a shootout last year.
Dane Kirak. You don't have a Kirak on the sidelines to get you to help you break this game open. So we'll see if they have something like that in store for you tonight. But first, we'll step aside for the national anthem.
American flag, Cadet Staff Sergeant Bernsey Joseph, carrying the Cadet Major Kanazawa Figueiredo. Guarding the Texas flag, Cadet First Lieutenant Aisha Cesar. Ladies and gentlemen, upon completion of the national anthem, we ask that you remain standing until the flag leaves the field.
Bro, you know how many chords she got? She got 4 chords right here. And I don't even have one. I don't have one too. Yeah, no, obviously you don't have them. No, coach, this is like the artist.
All right. We'll get the colors of the nation and the state. I'll march that off the field. And we can get set for week 2. One of the better times of year, all the sports kind of starting to come together a little bit. You got high school volleyball going on. That started up about a couple weeks ago. College football just started last week. UT fans, don't be too disappointed. There's only a 7-point game.
Yeah.
If there's one takeaway, you didn't get blown out of the building. You got shut out for the better part of 3 quarters, but you didn't get blown out of the building. And then it's week 1. NFL's going on. Baseball, you're closing in on the race to October. All of it starting to come together. NBA is going to be coming up here not before long. We'll be talking about high school basketball down the stretch, too.
You know, I'll make a point in high school basketball. My son plays high school basketball, and nowadays there's a like a showcase tournament tomorrow that involves a lot of teams. So even basketball, high school basketball, again, these don't go into the official record book, but it's a chance to
kind of getting a little bit of starting to grease the wheels.
Exactly. You're not waiting until kind of mid-October until quote unquote basketball season, and so they get a chance to get on the hardwood over the next few weekends.
And as fans will note as well, too, fans watching at home, We got the pretty shiny new graphics pulled out for you for the season here for you tonight. You'll have a running score clock throughout the course of the game, the play clock, and we'll be able to keep track of it for you, timeouts, possession, all those fun things. Just keep an eye out on it. Give us a don't look. If they can't get the scoreboard right in the stadium sometimes, which is known to happen, don't expect us to be perfect up here either, okay? I'm just saying we're all human, and we're going to let that slide. In the same way, folks, we're going to give officials a break sometimes. They're human too, and they do not, unlike the NFL and college, have the benefit of somebody in New York or in Indianapolis or in California and Los Angeles calling in and saying, you need to take another look at that call.
Yeah, exactly, and kind of erase it. You're correct.
So Austin High will start on defense, and the Westwood Warriors will get the ball, which means the Maroons will get to start the second half on offense. Maroons tonight, they brought out the icy whites, a little bit of reminiscent of the UT a little bit here tonight. White lids, white shirts, white pants to go against the other UT, enthusiasts out here on the field in the form of Westwood. White lids, a little bit of that burnt orange shirts, and the white pants. Here we go. Kick is away, and this will be fielded and fair catch signaled in the end zone. So we will have 1st and 10 to go. Ball spotted at the 25 to get us started out here tonight. Starting the pistol, snap, give the inside, slips one, slips two, finally dragged down, ball runs out.
I think the Maroons got on it.
The Maroons fell on it first. We'll see what the official signal of it is, but early indications are that it is a turnover.
Looks like it was Ethan Hale the third attempt by a Maroon to make that tackle on the running back. He's the one that came up and slid his way to the perimeter to make that tackle and force that fumble. Ball came out clean and good recovery. So great first break that the Maroons have created for themselves, and we'll see if they can take advantage of it.
Well, we had listed on our depth chart Davenport and Jablon were going to be the starting quarterbacks, but Logan Davis was lined up in the backfield, and then Davenport drops back. They emptied out Childers. Out of that empty set, he'll go towards that side. Not quite to Childers, but he does find Mac Diamond, and that'll be a pick.
Good first throw there by Davenport. You got to believe that the Maroon coaching staff wanted to get Davenport kind of getting comfortable in the passing game. He missed a couple of early passes last week and just kind of never seemed to get settled back in, and was kind of in and out of the lineup. But good first down throw there just to kind of ease him in.
Out of the eye, give, Childers, stops initially, then is dragged down, and he will get back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Just didn't have much there over that right side. Looked like perhaps there was a little bit of a crease, but that west side defense came crashing down from the backside to make that stop.
3rd and 7, long 3rd down. Davenport walks up to the line here. We've got trips to the left. Single back Childers. Receiver coming in motion from left to right. A little bit of a reverse. Davis in trouble. The Westwood Warriors were ready for it. Down goes Davis back at the 25, where the quarter began. And that'll bring up 4th down. 4th and 12.
Well, you summed it up perfectly there. Davis got the reverse pitch, and there were 4 guys out there all wearing the burnt orange uniforms of the Westwood High School make the stop for a loss.
They'll come out in the gun. 4 wide, 2x2 set. Davenport looking, has time. A little bit of a double hitch. That one skips off the turf. That'll be incomplete, and so Westwood will take over with 9:34 remaining.
Pass intended for Hoopman. Even if he was able to make the catch, he was already on the ground, so it would have been short of the first down. So a little disappointing there. Maroons didn't get a chance to take advantage of that great field position created by that forced fumble on Westwood's first offensive possession. So we're basically just starting again. 25-yard line.
A little bit less time on the clock than when we started. 2.5 minutes have disappeared, but we'll try this all again. Snap, give. Nowhere to go. This Austin High defense, stout as ever.
I don't know if that was a called quarterback run, but because the snap looked a little bit low there.
It'll be second. I'm going to say he maybe got 2 yards, so that'll be 2nd and 8.
It actually was Norrell that took the direct snap, wide receiver.
Out of the gun, tight end to the right. Snap, throw, pass, bobbled, and incomplete. In coverage on this Maroon defense, sitting there ready for it was Ethan Kale. We've seen a lot of Ethan Kale last season having to fill in now for Will Peeler. Will Peeler, one of the great all-time linebackers that the Austin Maroons have seen. Some pretty big shoes to fill in the middle of that defense.
Very big shoes, lots of tackles. That's something that we talked about, replacing the number of snaps, the number of tackles that he had last year, or actually his whole career.
And now take off and run, and a sack. Tag team sack there between the two vets up front. Michael Friday and Hardison Borth get through, and that'll be a loss of about 4. We're already down to 4th and 12. And Westwood is set to punt this one away.
Yeah, they flushed the quarterback weights from the pocket quickly, and Friday was there to get the sack. Westwood running a.
We still got the early season.
Yeah, a little early season. Yeah, jitters and kind of who's on what, particularly when it comes to special teams.
Especially, too, like after the first couple of weeks, as this punt is away, a little line drive, change real fast. Well, it's something that we talked about, and we'll see if, as the Maroons will plan to utilize it, and they will, Jablon will come out. Coach Cecil said they were going to use him and Davenport, rotate them in, because they're two very different quarterbacks. They are very different skill sets. Snap, Jablon, keeps, and bouncing his way through. He'll pick up 3 on first down. That'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah, last week when Davenport got off to a little bit of a kind of a shaky start, and they brought Jablon in, and he was able to get the team moving. Maroons weren't able to really put points up on the board, save for that for a single field goal, but they were at least able to move the ball a little bit, and Witt trying to come back in, really difficult time trying to find some rhythm, and of course, as we mentioned, the second half really just got away from him.
Jablon a little bit more mobile, able to use his legs in a bit different ways than Davenport, who maybe has a better arm between the two, as Childers up the middle picks up a yard. That'll bring up 3rd and 6.
Bringing Davenport back in for pretty obvious passing down. We'll see what they try here on 3rd and 6, but this is kind of outside the comfort zone that coaches would like if they want to run the ball to try to get this first down. Normally they're looking for something 4th and 3 or 3rd and 3 or less.
Davis out there, 3 wide set. Jablon coming in motion. They'll fake it to him and then give it to Childers, and Westwood prepared. That initial penetration gets back there. Childers having to react right away, and nowhere to go. He'll be down for a loss of 2. That'll bring up 4th and 8. And the Maroons will turn to James Peterson, who doubles both as the place kicker and the punter for the Maroons here tonight.
Well, the Westwood was able to get a good punt off and flip the field on that after getting stopped on their last possession. We'll see what Austin High can do. They could certainly use a good punt here.
So you got the same thing going on the
Yeah,
Austin High side.
now
It's okay,
running
guys.
Childers on.
So-
Now running Childers on late for punt team duties. You can kind of see there's going to be a flag on the play.
Well, delay a game. That play clock ran out. So the delay game penalty will send this into what was a 4th and 8 will now be 4th and 13 for Peterson to punt.
Maroons had some difficulties in the punting game last week, starting with the snaps. That's a good one to get it off. Nice punt.
High spiraling kick fielded at the 40. One tackle miss, not a second. And it takes about 4 or 5 Maroons to finally bring him down. And we'll see where they spot this. They will spot it right at that 45-yard line, and that's where Westwood will take over with 5:15 to go. Early on just kind of feels, I don't know the best way of putting it. It's almost more like they're both trying to figure themselves out as well as figure each other out a little bit, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think both offensive lines are struggling a bit, and kind of like early rounds of a heavyweight fight where no one's really throwing anything. You're just trying to stay in the round.
Right, yeah. Snap, give, and again, this Maroon defense stands tall. John Burns coming off the edge, setting the hard edge. And that'll be a gain of 1. It'll bring up 2nd and 9. But you talk about the heavyweight fight, and, both sides maybe haven't thrown anything yet. Both sides almost kind of waiting for the other to show something that give us something we can hit.
Yeah, give us something we can hit. Maybe make a mistake.
It's kind of like in a pitcher's battle. Like, just throw me something I can swing at, man. And talk about giving something you can swing at. That pocket collapses. And this Maroon defense continues to be feisty. Holden Taylor comes through with a big sack. And so what was originally 2nd and 9, it is backed up. It'll now be 2nd and about 16.
Ethan Kale did a really nice job of knocking off the short crossing receiver very much off his route, and probably threw things off for Westwood and allowed the pressure to get there.
Pass downfield, receiver open, and it is caught. Huge chunk play, and it's a first down for Westwood. Down inside the Maroons' 20. Vince Geyer and Cam Turner were in the area.
Boy, it's tough. You let a receiver like that get behind you, and a good throw, probably an even better catch. Big first down there by Westwood.
Well, and the thing you have, too, it's almost, when you have 2 defenders in the area, you almost kind of think maybe the other guy's got him.
It, yeah.
And in that case, neither one had him. And now the big play turns into an explosive for Westwood as they'll put 6 on the board.
Well, things changed, turned very quickly there. Thought the Maroons might be able to get them off the field facing that 3rd and 15. They throw the long bomb downfield, and very next play, right off tackle, 20-yard touchdown run for Westwood Warriors, take the lead.
They'll try the extra point. Kick is up. It is good. Tack one on for the Westwood Warriors with 3:35 to go here in the first. They will jump out to a 7-0 lead. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Westwood will kick away to the Maroons.
Westwood Warriors would like to thank their generous sponsors, including Caprimo, Austin's premier cup bakery, and coffee house. Danny Ray.
Austin High Football would like to give special recognition to our loyal, forever sponsor, Torchy's Tacos. Booster Club is grateful for their generosity and commitment. Their support, along with others, supplements the small district budget and allows us to provide resources and truly elevate this program. With renewed excitement under the leadership of head coach Jason Cecil, we're kicking off a season full of promise. Partners like Torchy's Tacos make it possible to give our players the best experience on and off the field. So a thank you to Torchy's Tacos. And the Maroons are looking to give a thank you to the rest of this offense by putting some points up on the board. And they'll get another chance to do that here as this kick is away, fielded from inside the 5. And Whistle's blowing this one dead. Not sure if Hoopman, who was back there, that was Jason Martinez who was back there deep to return. Not sure if they signaled for a fair catch first.
It seemed like it looked like a theme last year in some of these games. Just at least give your defense a chance to reset. Well, we're going to have some sort of discussion here.
Yeah, to discuss it. How they should have enforced that, because clearly Martinez, I guess, didn't get the memo because he took off.
Yeah.
And so the discourse of it now is they're getting spotted.
Wow.
And I guess where he caught it, which would be back at the...
Wow.
And I guess where he caught it, which would be back at the Austin High 4 and from.
Because the play was for the ball was caught in the field of play.
Correct. So the fair catch, it was signaled at the 4. That's where they'll start. Davenport in trouble. Davenport gets rid of it into the flat and finds Diamond. Mac Diamond able to pick up a couple of yards, but disaster avoided by the Maroons there. They'll pick up 3, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7. Pick up 3, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7.
We got a flag on the play. It's going to be a safety.
Yep.
Play. Davenport almost gets sacked. They able to get the pass off, but there was a holding on the play, and being in the end zone, that's going to be 2 points. So
it's a lot of speaking to what Coach Cecil talked about yesterday, which is you're trying to get this varsity experience. You're trying to offset that. Guys who haven't played before, right, who don't have that varsity experience, so you have that aspect as part of it. To go with that, there was no communication apparently between Davis and Martinez, which is unfortunate, right? Davis signaled the fair catch. Martinez didn't either think that he was going to or didn't want him to. And in either case, you end up back at the 4, not sure which, nobody necessarily to blame, or in this case, maybe blame to go on both sides, neither one of them checking with each other.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it, all credit to Davenport to avoid the safety in the first place, only for the holding call to tack the safety on anyways. And so from a standpoint like that, it's almost if you're Davenport, you have to feel some kind of discouragement just because, man, I went to all that trouble to
get
this
out.
to happen.
Yeah, but then you get the hold. So,
yeah.
That was a big sequence of the game. Again, going back to the 3rd and 15, you think you're going to get the ball back, you're going to be feeling good about yourself, but you let a receiver get behind you, and Westwood gets the first down all the way down to your 20, and then they score a touchdown the next play, and then there's a fair catch on a kickoff that results in the ball being inside the 5-yard line, and
we have a flag back here at the 20 of Austin High.
I think they're gonna. I think Westwood's gonna. It's gonna be on the Maroons, and they're gonna. Looks like Westwood's gonna want it punted again.
And they went and conferenced with Westwood coaches. Austin High was offsides on the punt, on the safety kick, and And so now the defense will come off, and Westwood is elected for Austin High to kick it again, and they will enforce a safety that way. Or enforce a penalty that way, I should say.
In golf terms, this run of downs that the Maroons are on, this is called being on the bogey train. Something bad is happening on every play.
Yep.
Right now, they're squarely on the bogey train.
Well, and at this point, if we're sticking with the golf analogy, this is the point where you turn to your partner and go, "Can I have a mulligan?"
Yeah, exactly.
Can we try this over?
Right. Give me a ball out of the bag. You got. I don't care if it's a used ball, whatever. I don't care if you pulled it out of the lake.
Give me something different.
Just give me something round and wide or whatever, and I'll take it.
Well, and in
I'll hit
baseball terms, you talk about you're in a slump now.
Yeah.
You found yourself into a bit of slump, so you have to break out a slump buster. Maybe you need to change tendency. Maybe you need somebody to step up. And one of the things Coach Cecil talked about was because you lose so much experience and you lose so much leadership, you're now having to try and push some of these kids to take that over. Like, own that. Wear that leadership mantle. We'll see if one of them can step up and do that. This is a great
kick there. Wow, all the way down to the 20.
Long way to run.
Oh, ball's
Ball is
out.
out. Flag thrown. Westwood falls on it, but there is a flag thrown back here at the Austin High 47.
Now that looks like that will be in the area of either blocking below the waist or a hold or something on the Westwood team, which will push them back even further. But a great kick, goodness gracious, all the way down to the 20-yard line.
And because of the hit on the returner, the ball bounces backwards. So you're able to kind of mitigate whatever yardage was picked up.
Hold, so they're going to add 10 more. They're going to move Westwood back 10 more on that. The Westwood coach probably, of course, hindsight's 20/20. He might be saying, you know what, I should have just kept the ball at the 45.
No kidding. Should have gotten greedy. Shouldn't have looked for more.
That's right. But really a very nice kick by James Peterson, sending it from their own, the Maroons' own 15, where they were having to re-kick.
That's a 75-yard kick.
All the way down to the 20.
A good run, power running here shown by Westwood. That's a gain of 9. That'll be 2nd and 1.
Looks like that was Holden Taylor that made that tackle.
Pistol set, give. Finding a crease, and the Maroons fill it. Ethan Kale in there, helping to swing him backwards.
Looks like he got just enough of the first down. They'll move the sticks on that. Pretty important early series defensively here by the Maroons. They kind of get off the field here, maybe perhaps on this set of downs, and try to get things going with the offense, facing an early 9-0 deficit late in the first.
Snap, play fake, roll out left, nearly intercepted. Henry Clifton came barreling over, nearly got the turnover. Came up just shy.
Very nice play. Undercut that receiver to get that breakup.
It's actually Van Cutzer who made the deflection. I gave it to Clifton. 17 and 19, even at this angle, do kind of look
look
pretty
alike.
similar. Pass blitz was called, and the Maroons barrel Westwood down inside the 2-minute mark here in this first quarter of play. And somehow able to just scramble his way forward for a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. Cooper Waite there at quarterback, 9-0 lead for Westwood. Working on third down, waits to throw, pressure. That pass sails. That Maroon pass rush forced him to have to go just a little bit early. Hurried him through the read and through his progression, and that'll fall incomplete, bring up 4th and 9. And Westwood will punt to Jason Martinez, who is deep to return.
Nice job there by the Maroon defense to gave up that initial first down, but stiffened up. Give their offense a chance to do something on this possession before this quarter ends.
High punt. Martinez waves for it. And that'll be a fair catch signaled at the 33-yard line. 1:01 to play here in the first. Maroons will take over at their own 33. They trail by 9. Get set, ready to go here again. They're going to empty out the backfield. Jablon alone. He's going to tuck and run. Quarterback keeper dancing and spinning his way down to the 36. Pickup of about 3. That'll bring up 2nd and 7.
Nothing fancy there, just a way to get some good positive 3-4 yards on this first down. I mean, the Maroon offense really is not equipped to do a lot of conversions on third when you're talking about 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. I mean, no offense likes to be in that, but some are clearly ready to convert that, and I just don't think the Maroons are at that point. So they've got to really kind of build their way towards getting first downs, and it starts off with a good first down, positive yards, and a second down.
Keeper on 2nd down. And Jablon's effort will push him. Let's see where they spot this. It'll bring up 3rd and 2, and that'll take us to the end of the first. So we're through a quarter of play. And it'll be 3rd and 2 when we come back for the start of the second. We'll take a quick break with them. You're watching the Maroon Network here on YouTube, part of the Vipe Live Network. We'll be right back.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you turn your attention to midfield for a special presentation. Over the past several weeks, the Westwood Learning Community joins the fight to end hunger with Hope Austin, an organization dedicated to providing food security to children in our community. Students from elementary, middle, and high schools have been competing to donate the most peanut butter for a food drive called the Peanut Butter Bowl. Together, the Westwood Learning Community will donate 3,232 jars of peanut butter to Hope Austin. A total of 6th in the state of Texas and 1st in the Austin area. And now, it's time to recognize the winning schools. At the elementary school level, competition between schools was exceptionally close, winning by less than a 1% margin and taking home the Peanut Butter Bowl helmet. Please congratulate Kathy Caraway Elementary! And at the middle school level, the winner of the coveted Peanut Butter Bowl helmet is Grisham Middle School!
Welcome back in. Oh, we got a little tush push. Paul Longoria, we got a tush push going.
I think it looks, well, no, they ruled them short. They had some success with it last week on a couple of occasions. They run it from a pretty far out. That was all of 3rd and 2 there. That's about the max, but I think last week they pushed it out to about 3 or maybe even 4 yards on one carry, if I recall correctly. Austin High, it looks like they're going to go for it. They're going to have 4th and looks
2.
like. Well, they have it marked as well. No, they gave them a
They
yard. It's
gave
going to
me
be
a
about
yard, so
4th and
it's
1.
gonna
They
be
got
4th and 1.
They got to move that marker. Oh, boy, they are going to bring out the punt team.
Okay, here we go. I mean, you got a yard on 3rd and 2.
Yeah,
Try to push again, I guess.
I don't like it necessarily on that 4th, and particularly when you sort of struggle on the offensive line. And I know I just mentioned that last week. They had some success doing it from longer, as far out as 3-4 yards. But that's a tough get.
Punt is away. Fair catch signaled at the 21-yard line, and that is where Westwood will take over.
I think I might have taken my chances, perhaps give him Reed Childers the ball there on 3rd down and see if he can pick up those 3 tough yards.
So 11:04. Pistol sent. Waits. Dropped it. Able to get the handoff. Picks up about 4 yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 6. I'm not sure, though, if they thought a whistle got blown.
Yeah.
There was a lot of standing around on both sides as if they thought
play was dead.
play was
of some
dead
sort. Yeah.
when Waits couldn't hold on to it. I mean, even Cooper Waits kind of just half-heartedly handed that off.
I don't think a knee got on the ground or anything, but. Good job there by the Maroon defense. No yardage on that play. Going to bring them to 3rd and 6.
Taking their time here, getting the call in.
Yeah.
Play clock winding down. Halftime. We'll go 3 wide, tight end to the right for 3rd and 6. Play fake, rolling right, gonna come back, wheel around, no alone, nobody's there. Turner can't bring him down. Touchdown Westwood.
I love the simplicity of that of that style of play because it almost never seems to fail. You roll your quarterback right. You just kind of quietly slip somebody out the left. Either sometimes it's a tight end. You see it short yard situations, and he gets lost in the wash. Nobody's picking him up. He's wide open, and great execution there by Westwood, and they get the long touchdown, 75-yard touchdown.
Just a shallow wheel and off the play fake. Nobody was fooled necessarily by it in terms of the handoff, but they all flowed with the quarterback. And like you said, the running back, almost kind of like you're setting up a screen the way the offensive line rotated with it.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just a simple wheel where the running back just leaks out downfield.
Yeah, and that quarterback's rolled to his right, so the flow's going that way. And somebody is assigned to stay home for that exact purpose, but I see it happen. I see that work at the high school level, college level, and you just lose track of a guy coming out completely backside when so much of that flow has gone the other way. And I love that play call. A lot of times you'll see with the tight end, they'll bring a tight end, perhaps line him up in the right tackle spot. They'll do they'll put overload the offensive line to one side, and you don't identify that tight end at a tackle spot, and he just kind of slips out going across the face of the defense.
And you have him too, where he'll but even to that extent, though, that's usually he's kind of coming upfield and then slipping out. This one, it's a little bit more. He was he stayed behind like it was a screen, and then he just almost turned that into a wheel route.
Yeah,
all of it's a own accord. Either way, I mean, impressive play design, like you said, very simple in that style of play, and 16-0, maybe getting into the bag of tricks a little bit from Westwood's side of things. We'll see how the Maroons generate a response. Davis and Martinez back deep to return.
We'll see how the Maroons respond here. Again, last week I thought they played a hard first half and won their game. It was that second half that got away from them. Right now it looks like it's this first half that Westwood has really put the Maroons back on their heels.
That was a line drive of a kickoff, and it skips through the end zone. There is a flag out at the 39 on the Westwood side of the field. So we'll see what this is about.
That looks like going to be a offsides penalty is my guess. Right at the 38 of the Westwood side.
Looks like they're lining back up to kick it again because Davis and Martinez slot back out there.
If I had to get inside Martinez's head, I'm guessing he was thinking, I'm not catching this one. I'm gonna let it go in the end zone, and we're gonna start at the 25.
Well, and that one was a rocket. It just spun like it. You know, it's a UFO trailing over his head, anyways.
But he was not going to catch it.
He didn't touch it.
I'm at the goal line. I'm going to let it go, and we're going to start at the 25. At this point, they'll get a re-kick.
Kick here from the 35-yard line. You know, both teams come in tonight. They were 0-1, and Westwood signed, you know, they had a lopsided loss last week, too. They got a few more points on the board than the Maroons did. But it was just as ugly for them as it was for the Maroon faithful a week ago. And this one is short. Martinez has to get on top of that, and he does at the 26-yard line. It was a nice little pooch kick there from Westwood.
Yeah, kind of died right in front of Martinez. You know, you mentioned Westwood last week. They took on Waco Midway. Apparently, Waco Midway's early season goal is to beat all the teams in the Round Rock ISD, because then last night they beat Cedar Ridge. About pretty much another blowout.
Margin,
about the same margin. I think about 10 points less, perhaps, but another blowout. Waco Midway, a perennially strong team. I don't know if they've got other games scheduled with ISD. I don't think they do. At some point, you run out of weeks.
Yeah, you kind of run out. Start out of the gun. Looking, check down here. Childers, wide open space in front of him, and he will come up with a first down and then some. That'll be a gain of 14 for him, out to the 39-yard line. Going up tempo. Snap, quick throw, and Lorenzo Hoopman makes a grab, ducks out of bounds. Pickup, though, of about 5.
Looks like they're going to mark them about 4 yard, about 4 yard gain.
They backed. Well, initially they gave them 5. They backed off a yard. Maroons going up tempo. Little RPO. Another bubble screen here. Davis ducks outside. Logan Davis dragged down about a yard shy of the line to gain.
Okay, Davenport coming out looking sharp on his reads and his throws.
And a lot of quick hitters.
Just quick. Yeah, you know, they're just trying to get 3-4 yards, positive yards on this, and just kind of work towards getting the first down.
Quick flick of the wrist again, but this one is off target, and a little bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah.
Almost seemed like Davenport was expecting Brady Ford to break that out back towards the sideline or maybe settle a little bit more, and Ford, it seemed like, was trying to push upfield just a little bit more than what Davenport was asking of him, and so The Maroons will send out the punt unit.
I got to say, I'm a little surprised we're punting here. You got the ball at just shy of midfield, and you're down 16 at this point, and boy, you're passing up a chance to go for it.
High punt,
4th and 1.
spirals, and that will take a Westwood bounce this time back to the 27.
A little surprised there. A little surprised by the
Definitely,
decision.
I think, a conservative approach there, but at the same time, okay, you know, Coach Cecil talked yesterday about just some small victories, right? And kind of as a conversation, like, you know, with the experience deficit and everything else, well, how do you get those small victories, right? How do you kind of build that experience and that confidence up? And, you know, because I'm like, I know with quarterbacks, it's a mantra of, hey, let's just get some completions, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't need to be anything big.
Sure.
Just get some easy completions. And he's like, it's kind of that same mentality. Just something small, and we'll just kind of keep building at it and chipping away at it. And so maybe, you know, okay, we got a couple of small completions. Let's not try and go for that here. Because overall, I think the defense has played well. And, of course, as I make that statement, we have this here, although there is a flag, as I think Cam Turner was able to sell that block as being a hold.
I do think he got held towards the very. He did a nice job of selling it, but I do think that
it was an honest call.
Yeah, he did a job of selling it. Yeah, he was going to make sure
attention to it.
He was going to make sure that the official called it. So that'll negate the first down. It'll be downfield, so it'll be marked where the hold was. So best I can tell, probably going to net a gain of about 4 on the play. Oh, it's a face mask. Wait, what is a
face mask against the Maroons.
Wow. That I did not, I didn't have that in my bingo
no,
card.
No, that wasn't. That's not what I expected.
Because it looked like it got thrown where that hold happened. And
I wonder if it was in response to Turner thought he was being held if he grabbed the face mask trying to get loose and then tried to sell it. I don't know.
Wow. Okay. I
didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
I saw more of a hold.
Yeah. Well, you're not looking for a face mask in that situation.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. It's out in the wide open, and you're thinking it's going to be a hold because that DB's got a chance to come up and make that tackle.
Waits, lofts one too far in front, and even if he had that one on target, 3 Maroons in the area ready to put a hand on that one. So dangerous pass. It's why, back in the day, Woody Hayes used to say, he used to rely on the running game because when you threw the ball, 3 things can happen. 2 of them are bad.
That's right.
Either we catch it, which is a good thing, they catch it, that's a bad thing, or nobody catches it, and we don't want that to happen
That's a bad thing also.
Yep. Pistol set here. Waits, lofts that one to the side, and that is caught, but only for a gain of 1. And a little bit, Waits, it looks like it's not too happy with his tailback because off of that, it didn't look like it was supposed to be a play fake. So when Waits turned, that running back crossed right in front of his face.
Yeah.
And you saw Waits almost flinch as soon as that happened before he just quick fired into the flat there.
Yeah.
Either way, it comes up to 3rd and 9, 7:25 and counting to go. Out of the gun, Waits, snap, has time. Time expiring, though. Trying to get out of trouble. It takes a hard hit from John Burns. And that will go down for a loss of 4 back at the 40.
Nice pressure there by the Maroons up front. And forced a punt here by Westwood. We think a punt.
You never know.
You never know when you got the ball at the 40 of your opponent. It is 4th and about 13.
I was going to say, it's a long
it's
way
a
to try that.
long way to go, but
It's a little bit different if it was,
Yeah.
4th and 2 or less, and you were inside or around the 30. High kick, and that will bounce inside the 5 and into the end zone for the touchback. So the Maroons will take over. Down 16, but 6:21 to go here in this first half of play. It's been all the Maroon defense so far, partially because they've been out on the field for a while. And
Yeah.
I think right now, we talk about those small victories that Coach Cecil talked about. I think the biggest small victory that you could get right now is just pick up a first down.
Yeah.
And just kind of extend a drive a little bit, give your defense a chance to breathe.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I was pointing out on that last drive. I mean, really, you had the ball just shy of midfield, and you got a 4th and 1, maybe a long one, but hey, let's look, guys. We're going to get in there. We're going to get this first down. We're going to keep the ball. And we're going to keep moving. But they didn't. They punted it away. They get the ball back. So really, no harm, no foul. But just now they're deeper back in their own territory. But good first down play there, and they must have marked him out of bounds short by a couple of yards. Okay,
He gets 8 on the catch. So a quick hitter there from Davenport to the outside. Out towards Martinez. Play fake here. That throw low. Davis had to go down to his knees for it. And he's signaling for that to be a catch. Near sideline, judge signaling that was incomplete. He had the arms outstretched like it was incomplete, and that's ultimately what they will rule it as.
I was wondering that we didn't have a really good angle at it. We had the back of Davis, but it looked a little bit odd, and I was kind of wondering if it didn't touch the ground.
Davis tried to sell it, though. He
did.
really tried. But it'll be 3rd and 2 here for the Maroon offense. Davenport out of the gun. Pressure coming. Give. Bobbing through. Out into the open field. Owen Watley, but he lost the ball.
Wow.
Actually, it was Caleb DeLeon who got into the second level. And they are signaling that it is not a turnover. He was down when the ball popped loose. So Maroons going up tempo again. 1st and 10. And whistle's blowing here. Now timeout will be taken by Westwood. So they tried to run somebody off late.
Yeah, they would have been flagged on that. I'd have to see the replay. I thought the ball came out, but the Westwood player coming in and punching it out, making the tackle, but officials right there ruled it immediately that the ball down. So the Maroons will keep possession, maintain possession with the first down just inside their own territory.
So timeout taken, 5:42 to go. And that'll be a quick timeout at that. That was a quick little, I don't even know if I'd call that a 30-second timeout as fast as that seemed to go by.
That was quick.
That was like a 15-second timeout you get in basketball. Well, the Maroons will set up shop. 5:42, 1st and 10. Ball spotted at their own 47. Davenport out of the gun, 3 wide. 2 receivers to the right. Tight end to that side as well. Davenport forced to let this one fly. Incomplete. Working that left side. I believe it was Hoopman out there that he targeted, working his way up the sideline.
Well, they had the coverage out there they were looking for, single, but it was good coverage. Just unable to make the connection.
Davenport back in the gun, 2nd and 10. He'll look. High throw again, looking for Lorenzo Hoopman. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10, 2 incompletions in a row. Talked about earlier about how, this offense really isn't built for getting into these 3rd and long situations. So You want to get ahead of the chains. Well, what have they done now? 2 incompletions now has them staring at a 3rd and long.
Yeah.
And that allows this Westwood defense to pin their ears back and go hunt against a relatively inexperienced offensive line.
Precisely.
Snap, Davenport steps up, gonna tuck it and run. It's actually Jablon, and he will duck his way down to the 46.
Well, let's see what they do here. I don't see a lot of movement or substitutions coming in from the Maroon sideline, so it looks like Coach Cecil's going to decide to go for it here on fourth and about 4. Keep the same personnel out there.
5:05 and counting. They've got time here. Jablon, they'll run it, and DeLeon's got nowhere to go. He gets dropped behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 3, and Westwood will take over.
Well, the offensive line has struggling again tonight, and Childress just had no place to go. I mean,
and they've done pretty well. I mean, they had a pretty nice pocket set up there on the previous play.
Yes,
where
they did.
was
They
able
did.
to take
They
off,
did. They
and
did.
Then you come in on 4th down, and something either seemed to give it away to Westwood,
Yeah.
or they were coming anyways.
They're coming hard. Well, I think when you've got Jablon in there, you know that it's easy to key because they're probably not going to throw. So
Waits will come back in out of the gun. Give here himself, and this carry goes for about 2. Vince Geyer coming in hard from his safety spot to help set the edge and wrap him up. And Westwood in no hurry. Coach Ward going to let time tick away here in the first half. Play fake, Waits. Little RPO on the slant, somehow still on his feet. And finally brought down over the middle. Haynes Morrison, the one to finally make the stop. Coming in, he's on the other side as a defensive end, having to come back and make the tackle, but it is 1st down and 10 from the Maroon 37-yard line. Waits out of the gun. And flags thrown here.
procedure, Westwood.
So that'll back him up 5, turn this into a 1st and 15.
Really important for Maroons to get off the field on this series. At a minimum, going to halftime, keeping the score where it is, knowing they can come out and get the ball to start the second half. Ideally, get the ball back, maybe somehow manufacture some sort of points going in. But right now, the first goal, get the Westwood offense off the field, and
another flag thrown.
Westwood doing the fine job themselves.
I mean, hey, if you want to be helpful, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If you're going to give us a hand, then sure.
That's right. If Maroons will gladly take those 5 yards and move Westwood back, put them in a 1st and 20.
They are backed up now to the Maroon 47. 3:03 and counting. Waits, flings this one out into the flats, and they're going to say that was incomplete, which I agree with. It looked like that one would have been complete maybe if you were, a few thousand miles to the north up in Canada where you can bounce it to the receiver.
That's right, you can bounce it.
But down here, not quite allowed, and so that'll be incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 20. This one tumbling forward on the handoff. They're going to get back to that original line of scrimmage, so they pick up half the yardage needed. Gain of 10. I'll bring up third down.
Maroons might have to be ready to defend 2 more downs here if Westwood can perhaps carve this 10 yards needed by half.
Waits to throw. Drifts left. That pass sails incomplete. In the vicinity were Geyer and Alderson, excuse me.
Doesn't look like they're going to send the punt team in.
4th and 10. You're at the Maroon 37. It's kind of that in-between zone. You're a little too close to want to feel comfortable about punting it because you don't want the touchback. You're a little bit too far away for you to send out your place kicker. Are they waiting, expecting the 2-minute timeout?
Looks like they're going to talk about it. Looks like
so they will call a timeout themselves. Well, because it was 2:08.
Yeah.
But the clock stops because the incomplete pass. But it was almost kind of. Did you guys maybe forget that? Like, did you think you were still getting the 2-minute timeout?
2-minute timeout,
Did you maybe forget that? Clock stops. Whatever the case. Now they will have 1 timeout remaining.
I suspect just based. I don't. It doesn't look like they've got the punt unit ready to go on out there, which, it's tough to blame. I mean, you can't really probably the right decision. I realize they got 4th and 10, but they're inside. They're at the 37 of the Maroons. If we're being completely honest, the Maroon offense has not challenged them that Westwood defense very much. So there's not a big fear of getting hit by a haymaker if you don't get this first down here.
A lot on the Austin High side of things to pay attention to here. We'll see if they're ready, because if you're Westwood, you're maybe thinking, can we pull another one of those kind of trick plays that we got the last set of 6 points on? We'll see what they draw up here. Waits, snap, looks, has time, fires, laser, passes, caught, but I think he's short.
They're going to give it to him. They got to the 25. Yeah. Wow, he just, who was that? Westwood. Norrell just went out there. And
that is the 2-minute timeout.
He just ran out there and kind of sat down right beyond the first down marker, and nice job. Just ran the kind of a little bit of a comeback route, and Waits found him, sat down in a nice little soft spot there in the defense, and boy, you give that up, and
curl route is hit.
Be kicking yourself a little bit. So now the Maroons, obviously, with more than enough time. They've only got 25 yards to go for a touchdown here. They've got 2 minutes, so time is not an issue. Matter of fact, they can probably slow play this thing in between downs to milk this clock for as much as possible, as much as they're able to, without fear of running out of time and trying to scramble to get in the end zone.
So we'll take this time as part of the 2-minute timeout to recognize our champ-level sponsors. Their support is vital to the growth of Austin High football. Austin Infinity Lee's Meat Market and the West Austin Pop Warner football. A big thank you to all of you for helping us to fuel the Maroon tradition and give our athletes an incredible experience as we've got a false start to come out of the 2-minute warning. So you had the 2-minute timeout. You had that time away to make sure we get all set. We get our play in. Now, the first thing we do when we come out is the illegal procedure, the false starts.
Right.
So it'll back him up to the 30-yard line, 1st and 15. Snap. Give. The inside. The Maroons crash down. Jackson Taylor, one of the first ones in there sporting that Block O jersey, that 0, which has become popular ever since the NFL came out and said, you're okay to do that.
Yeah.
Colleges started making that a tradition.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the collegiate level now, it's started to kind of mean something for certain schools.
Yeah, yeah.
Some, it's just another number. We don't, you know, we don't care. It's not like Texas A&M with a 12.
Yeah.
You know, that means something. Some people, they just like the 0. They think it looks cool. And timeout taken here by Westwood. That play clock was rolling down. 2nd and 14. So Westwood pretty liberal with their timeouts here called in the first half. I mean, you can't take it with you. I can understand that.
Yeah,
but
you can't take it with you. And again, they've got the ball, even with that loss of yards, they got the ball inside the 30, so it's not – I think they'll be fine time-wise. It feels like they've gone 10 yards. They've taken about 45 minutes to go 10 yards. Timeouts.
Penalties,
procedure penalties,
to help, keep backing you up. And
we
you have the stoppages that go into it. I mean,
we've had 3 procedure penalties in the last 5 or 6 snaps.
Yeah. Out of the pistol, Give, starting inside, trying to bounce this out to the left, and he was stopped by his own teammate.
Yeah, nice
Ran
pistol
right
run,
into the back of his receiver. He might have still been running if he doesn't barrel right into him.
Yeah. Geyer coming up to help make that tackle.
Cuts are out there as well. Waits in trouble. And Jackson Taylor helping to force that throw. Hurries him along as we are now inside a minute. And that brings us to 4th and 7.
Looks like they're going to bring out the kicker.
Now you're a little bit more in range than you were about 10, 15 yards ago.
Yeah, looks like it'll probably be about a 40-yard field goal. Place kicker was going to set it just at the 39.
So this would be a 39-yard field goal attempt from the left hash, which is not easy. These are the wider hash marks. Kick is up. It's low, but it is good. Tack on 3 for Westwood. With 40 seconds remaining.
Well, using another boxing analogy, first half, you can say Westwood is just kind of piling up points.
Sure.
Winning rounds and Maroons struggling really to get anything going on offense. The defense has not played bad. They have given up some big plays,
sure,
which has been the difference. And you do have to account for that. But they've also been on the field a lot, and really just not getting a ton of help from the offense.
Well, and you stop and think about it too, right? You don't want to take away points from Westwood, and certainly we're not trying to. But I will say, of Westwood's points, 2 of those come on a penalty, self-inflicted damage by Austin High. Another 6 was really just a trick play almost, just a little bit of a trickeration that catches the Maroons by surprise, off guard. And if you remove those, you're taking away 9 points out of this game. This really just comes down, it turns into, it's a 10-0 ball game essentially when you view it through that lens. And it just changes the dynamic a little bit when you stop and consider it and you put it in that perspective as Martinez, an excellent return out to the 36-yard line officially is where he stepped out. Maroons will have 32 seconds and 3 timeouts. to try and answer.
Can you use 3 timeouts in 30 seconds?
I mean, depends on how much yardage you can get, I guess, on one play.
Yeah, so they can certainly try to push the
If you
ball
have Coach
downfield.
Cecil right there by
You're
the
right
ref,
there.
ready,
Timeout,
just
timeout.
ready,
Yeah.
you know.
First thing they got to do is get yards.
Yeah.
So we'll worry about the timeouts when they've got a chance to or in a position to use them.
High snap. Jablon looking, sets up the screen. Here's Childers. Childers puts on a burst of speed, lowers his shoulder. Power running from Reed Childers.
They got him out of bounds. He was able to get out of bounds. Finish off that run just shy of midfield, so they don't have to use the timeout there. Nice piece of running there. I thought that Westwood defender was just close enough to be able to set that thing down at the beginning, but Childers, nice job catching, speeding upfield. Good first down there.
High snap. Jablon lofting this one down the field and about 3 yards too far for Lorenzo Hoopman. It looked like Hoopman maybe slowed up thinking that was going to be back shoulder to kind of help lead him towards that sideline a little bit. And it's not what happened. Now, clock stops for the incompletion, but Maroons will take a timeout. I'll stop the clock. 17 seconds remaining here in the half. They'll get a chance to discuss this. What do the Maroons have in their bag of tricks? Trying to go 51 yards in 17 seconds. They can still stop the clock twice. Snap. Jablon backing, looking, dancing now to his right. Trying to make something happen. Lofts this one into danger, incomplete. Good defensive play.
Yeah, well, you burn up a lot of time though, and now you're just down to 5 seconds here. Obviously, at this point, 2 timeouts not going to do you a whole lot of good. I mean, the fact that you have one at least is fine, but you've got to be able to probably still, I would say, 25 yards from even being in reasonable field goal range or decent field goal range. And that's going to require getting the 25 yards, getting a timeout in less than 5 seconds. And I'm not quite sure if that's going to be doable.
Maroons burn a timeout. They'll have one remaining. Not that they may get a chance to use it, like you said, as there's only 5 ticks of the clock. And again, trying to go 51 yards. And credit to Jablon trying to turn something into, make something out of nothing, trying to create with his legs, trying to extend the play like so many great quarterbacks we see in today's football and at all levels, and just unable to do it. And at that point, with that amount of time left, can't fault him. He put it into danger, but he put one up there, and Patrick Bird was able to help knock it down.
Yeah. Just trying desperately to make a play.
Flag thrown here as Jablon just keeps it and runs. I think maybe they were hoping as far back as Westwood was playing, they could just run this. And it does run clock out. We'll see what the flags are for. There's one back in the backfield and another one at the line of scrimmage.
I got to feel like at least one of them is in a place of holding. I don't know if the other one perhaps on the side is someone lined up off sides or illegal formation, but chop block. Wow.
That penalty is declined. So that should be half.
Yeah.
Now the Maroons are staying out there. Westwood's all coming off to the side and ready to go to the locker room, and now there go the Maroons. So we reach halftime. 19-0, Westwood leading over the Maroons. From the Austin High side of things, we talked about defense is out there a lot. And bless their souls. That Maroon defense was put to the challenge time after time after time, and they met that pretty frequently. And they just kept coming back. And for as much as we've talked about the Austin High offense struggling to move the ball, struggling to come up with points, as reflected by the fact they don't have any yet here on the scoreboard, it's almost a matter of, it feels like things could be a lot worse. And I hate to say that, but that Austin High defense has done really, really well. I get it, they've given up 19 points, but as much as they've been on the field, you can't fault them for that. I'd love to see what the time of possession split wound up being for that first half, because I got to think that is slanted heavily in Westwood's favor.
Almost. I mean, you're probably close to a 2-1, I would imagine, or whatever the ratio would break down.
Because, it feels like the bulk of that second quarter, Westwood had the ball for it.
Yeah, a long time.
So, and again, for the score to be 19-0, again, you have to give credit to that Austin High defense. Now, here's where the things are going to kind of become sticky. You're going to have to make some adjustments. I think the Austin High defense is playing as well as it can. I think the biggest thing is we got to figure out this offense a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, again, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. New system, new terminology, new schematics, right? It's all new for the Maroons offensively. Got to think that that's probably playing into it. Coach Cecil talked about it. Everybody's kind of thinking things through. Want to see how they respond then to it. Want to see them attack and come back after it and see what kind of adjustments they can maybe make. Coach Cecil talked about one of the things they did is, this past week was try to simplify things so that they can play fast. Certainly seems to help the defense. We'll see if the offense can put it together, and that's something that Coach Cecil mentioned wanting is for the offense to put things together. Now the pride of the Maroons, going to work right now. We'll step aside. You're watching the Vibe Live Network broadcast of the Austin High Maroons. We'll be back all season. We'll be back in just a little bit for the start of the third quarter.
We would like to take a moment to wish the Westwood Band good luck on their UIL season and thank all of our many parent volunteers, especially those helping us with our props tonight. We cannot perform without your support. Ladies and gentlemen, the Austin High Band. And now, introducing the award-winning 2025-2026 Westwood High School Sun Dancers. The Sun Dancers are Junior Lieutenant Shelly Buck, Junior Lieutenant Clinton Pepper, Junior Lieutenant Lexi Walker, and Sun Dancer Major Elliot Richards. The Sun Dancer Social Award is President Caroline Johnson. The Sunshine Award goes to Holly Johnson. Sun Dancer of the Week, Stephanie Lamar. And now, presenting the Westwood Sun Dancers. the back of the left. Drum majors for the Warrior Band are Cynthia Lou, Theo Long, Eileen Lou, Nora Yates, and Rachel Zhu. Directors for the Warrior Band are Brittany Dacey, Brandon Winters, Bryant Sharpley, Percussion Director, Mikey Sheeran, Color Guard Director, Martha Strabe. Section of the week is the Mellophone. The Westwood Warrior Band would like to wish the Austin High School Band good luck for a successful competition season. Good.
Welcome back in to the broadcast booth. Start of the second half is minutes away. Both teams coming back out, getting their warm-ups in. Westwood's up 19-0. Now, we've talked at the end of the first half how the offense for Austin High felt like they've been kind of just struggling to find anything positive going. Now, they had some bright spots, a couple nice runs there by Childers, a couple nice runs by Jablon, and the quick game got going pretty good early on passing-wise for Davenport. They just all didn't happen at the same time, and so it's hard to build on that. But to go along with that, there's a second half to be played. So if we talk about that heavyweight fight, yeah, you won the cards early, but there's a whole set of rounds yet to be played. In golf terms, yeah, you didn't do so well on the front nine. Hey, you know what? The back nine's coming up. This is your time to shine.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So, Maroons are going to come out here. They're going to get the ball to start offensively, assuming Westwood doesn't try any craziness or trickeration. We're going to see and we're going to find out what adjustments Austin High has made. Coach Cecil made a point of wanting to simplify on offense, wanted his guys playing faster, wanted the offense to get sorted out a little bit, that offensive line to gel. We'll see if they can take a few of those strides here for that in this second half of play. Defense was a bright spot. We talked about that ad nauseum. We're going to talk about that probably some more before this night is over. Don't fret about that. I think you and I can agree, though, the one thing that this Maroon offense is going to have to do, though, they're going to have to figure out a way to push the ball downfield and get vertical.
They are. They're going to have to. They're going to have to get some chunk plays. I mean, it's hard to just sort of slowly chop your way every drive trying to get into the end zone, and they've got to create some chunk plays, as I mentioned, either in the passing game or a running game, and just to try to stay in this thing and get into it. And perhaps the second half this week will be different than last week. They've got the first chance to. They've got the first chance to show it, and with the offense out on the field. So they've just got to try to establish something on offense. That's really what we haven't seen in 6 quarters. And I understand they're just kind of still trying to find their way and figuring out just what they can do, and maybe more importantly, what they can't do.
Everybody said this time around, right? Non-district games, we're all trying to figure things out. Everybody's trying to get themselves situated, and we've seen it before, not just here with Austin High. We saw it when you and I would work together up at Taylor. What you saw in non-district isn't what you got in district play. I mean, we've seen quarterback changes from non-district to district play. Certainly wouldn't expect anything less as coaches figure out their team, as they figure out their guys. But the one thing Coach Cecil talked about is asking, what's that one thing that you've kind of seen in practice that you're just waiting on these guys to show on tape? And he said, I'm waiting for the switch to flip. I'm waiting for it to click, and for that light bulb moment to come on for these kids and for them to hit it. As whistle's blown, a flag is...
Do we have a delay?
In the end zone.
Yeah, sure do. We got a delay of game on the kickoff. You do not see that a lot.
Not usually.
You do not see that a lot. But that is the delay of game, so Westwood will have to boot this from their own 35 instead of the 40. You had one job to do.
All you had to do was kick the ball on time. I mean, my gosh. There's a glowing clock at each end.
At each end. That's right. That's right.
I guess he thought that the kickoff was a dead play. Like, there wasn't a play clock associated to it. And there's another flag out, by the way, back here at the 34-yard line of Westwood.
That looks like that will in the spot of offside on the kickoff. And more than likely, Austin is going to, the Maroons will.
Are they going to ask him to kick it again? And
I would. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I mean.
No, they're not, though. They're going to take the. Oh, I think they'll take they'll tack the
Enforce
5
it
yards.
on
Yeah.
the- yeah, okay.
They'll tack the 5 yards on, and they'll start at the 30 as opposed to the 25.
So instead of asking them to re-kick, they will enforce that 5-yard penalty on the possession. So they will march this off from where it would have started at the 25-yard line. Instead of it being 1st and 10, it will be 1st and 5 from the 30.
Okay. No,
Now there's another whistle blown.
yeah, I was gonna say it should be 1st and 10, but
It
at the
should-
30.
Well, the way look, I'm going off the way they had it
Yeah, oh,
marked
for
off.
sure.
Yeah, you know,
They had it. Yes,
marked
they
as
had it
1st and
marked
5.
off as that.
The
yeah.
line judge over here
Yeah.
says, "Hold everything,
on,
guys.
it's 1st and
This
10
is 1st and 10
at the
from
30.
the 30-yard line." And they'll come out in the I formation. Receiver coming in motion. Tootman, give, Childers, patient before he picks his spot, and he will pick up 4 on 1st down. That'll bring up 2nd and 6.
Nice hole there, right in the middle of the offensive line, and some tough running there by Childers.
One thing to let fans at home know, almost forgot to mention it from the conversation with Coach Cecil. Stream will be up if you missed it, if you have family, if you have your sons out there on the field wanting to watch it. It will be up for 24 hours. Coach Cecil has asked us that we take it down after those 24 hours, and then at the conclusion of the season, everything will be put back up in its entirety. That's not uncommon. Coaches do not want to leave that stuff out there for
That's
everybody
right.
to scout, okay?
Scout, yeah.
Especially with a new offense and
Yeah,
working out
yeah.
kinks.
And personnel.
Exactly.
And any number of reasons, valid reasons that they don't want it out there too much.
So just be forewarned. Don't panic if you go in on Sunday and it's magically not there. It will come back. It'll be back at the end of the season, just so everybody's aware. Well, the Maroons were able to pick up a 1st down. And on 1st and 10 on this series, they pick up about 2. That'll bring up 2nd and 8. Sticking with the ground right now with Childers. And so far, I mean, we saw a lot of Childers last season, and he works when it's working for you.
Yes, he does.
Strong eye to the right, little power eye set, and a little bit of confusion. And Davenport with a stiff arm trying to pick his way forward all by himself.
Wow.
And it takes the bulk of the Westwood defense to bring him down. 8 out of 11 have to get in there to bring down with Davenport.
It looks like somebody, I don't know if Davenport spun out the wrong way, but obviously something didn't look right with that play. He was going one way. It looks like most of the offense was going the other, including perhaps his running back.
And
I guess after all that, it was loss of about just 1.
yeah, loss of a yard. Give credit to his effort. It'll be 3rd and 9. And had a Westwood Warrior down, and it's part of the scrum. Likely, we don't want to cast aspersions to what it is, and he is helped off on the field. 9 times out of 10 and something like that, though, somebody got stepped on.
Somebody got stepped on. You kind of fall awkwardly, and
I'm not saying that is what happened, but from personal experience of being involved in one of those, it's usually what happens. So I'll come out in the gun, 3 wide here, 2 to the left. Davenport looking, has time. Layers this one in, and it is incomplete. Was low and behind his intended receiver of Brady Ford.
It looks like he had Ford sitting down in an open area, and I don't know if he expected him to turn it out or in, but Ford turned in. The pass was out. It could have just been an off-target pass, but it would have been a 1st down, but
Well,
it
in
not.
either case, though, it was so low.
Yeah, it was,
I don't know that Ford would have been able to get underneath it.
to bring
in
it
any case, he was going to have to come back for it to do that. Bit of a high snap. Peterson, though, able to get this punt away. And this is a floating kick, and it takes a Westwood bounce. That punt maybe netted 20 yards off the bounce. instead of it taking that Austin
Yeah.
kind of tumble and roll, it bounces high into the air back towards the Maroons, and so
Had kind of a knuckleball feel to it while it
Yeah.
was in the air. So disappointing first drive there by the Maroons. They do get one first down, but then they've got to get stopped on the next series of downs and forced to punt. Defense hoping to get the ball back for their offense.
9:24 to go here in the third. Cooper waits in the Westwood offense. Out of that pistol set, the give. All kinds of running room here, and lowering his shoulder and pushing forward. Maps Mahis able to push his way through. He doesn't need directions. His name's Maps.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Pistol set. On second down, they go right back to him. This time the Maroon defense ready and waiting for him. Henry Clifton in there to make the stop. So that'll bring up 3rd and 4.
Taylor with a nice job coming in there to slow the ball carrier down.
Pistol set. Westwood not in any hurry. They're going to go right back to Mahis. Mahis got through. He got held up maybe initially, but then on that second little burst, he gets the first down and extra out to midfield. And that brings us a new set of downs for Westwood.
Nice piece of running, just patient, and didn't have a clean look at the hole. But when he did, he got his body upfield, got his shoulders turned, and got that first down.
Pistol set again, snap, give. Mahis trying to bounce off the Maroon defense, nowhere to go, as he has stopped Ethan Kale getting through with the tackle.
He's
He
having himself
got
a nice
back to
game.
that line of scrimmage. Yeah,
Kale's having a good game.
filling in for Peeler. Replacing him on this defense is the heart and soul, and
A lot of tackles.
a lot of tackles went to Will Peeler last season and the seasons before that. I don't know that Ethan Kale will finish his high school career with quite that many, but he's putting on a good show tonight. As they'll go with a little RPO, pass is caught. Alderson can't bring him down into the open field. Touchdown Westwood. Alderson trying to hold on, but Drew Norrell able to shake him off, and John Burns and the rest of the Maroon defense couldn't track him down.
Pretty simple pitch and catch there on a slant. Throw was good. And Morrell did a really nice job of throwing off the defender, and safety not over there in time. He takes it to the house.
Extra point is up. It is good. There it was. It looked like a flag thrown after the kick, though.
Everyone's staying out on the field, so perhaps it's against Westwood. Let's see. Got a hold. This will make it a bit of a longer extra point, 10 further yards back.
Long drive for Westwood, too, at that. Took up quite a bit of time. Folks at home, if you're wondering, if you're watching a couple games at once, because we're not the only game on YouTube tonight, it may surprise you to know The NFL's got a game going on, too.
I saw that, a Friday night game.
Yeah. It's the last Friday night game that the NFL gets to have for a while as this kick is blocked. The Maroons got through and blocked the extra point. I can't tell you who exactly got it because there was such a scrum. There was such a cluster to tell, but they got their mitts on it and deflected that one. Still 25-0 though in favor of Westwood. 6:47 to play here in the third, but for those of you at home, if you are multitasking or you have the YouTube TV multi-view
it's the YouTube game. That's right. Okay.
That's right. So
okay.
But it is the last one they get to have for a while because of some federal law. You can't broadcast an NFL game on a Friday night within 75 miles or whatever of a high school game.
Okay.
In the United States, and that the only way they've been able to do that is because Labor Day has been so early, because it's a law from the second Friday in September all the way to the second Friday in December.
Okay.
Which I don't know how they've been able to get away with their Black Friday games.
Yeah,
yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
We'll ignore those, I guess, because it's a holiday. I get maybe that's the workaround. I don't know.
But NFL tonight on YouTube.
And if you have money on the game, which I'm not condoning, I don't know how that works from a UIL standpoint or whatever, but the Chargers are up 13-6 for those of you who care.
Okay, taking on the Chiefs. The Kansas City Taylor Swifts, I guess.
Well, depends on who you ask, I suppose. Kick is away. And Martinez trying to make something happen, trying to set up his blocks. Able to get this out to the 27. You'll notice, too, at the bottom of your screen on the broadcast at home, we're keeping track of the scores going on around the district. Now, the Lake Travis-Rockwall game was currently delayed. They're under a weather delay. They were tied at 7 earlier in the second quarter.
Okay.
Westlake is doing what Westlake usually does. They're beating up on their opponent in San Benito tonight. 35-0. Dripping Springs doing much the same, 34-0 right now. Last night's contest involving Bowie lost. It was a close game, though, 28-21, being the final score against Cedar Park Vista Ridge. And right now, Del Valle also losing 26-7 against Schertz Clemens. The Buffaloes over there at Schertz Clemens. And we have no idea what's going on with Cedar Creek and Aiken. So
yeah,
that one's not being reported to Dave Campbell's football app. That I check because it's easier for me to check through their app. And
Dripping Springs with big shock. Well, I don't want to say shockingly because we've seen Dripping Springs is a good program, but you knock off the state champs by almost 4 touchdowns in Vandergrift, and that sent a bit of a message.
Yep. Yablon fires. Pass is too high on second down. Looking for Lorenzo Hootman. Man, I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but there's a favorite receiver on the field for both quarterbacks, and his name is Lorenzo Hootman.
Yeah, that's right.
Trying to get the ball into his hands every chance they get. And I shouldn't say it's surprising. Hootman's a good receiver. He was a good receiver last season. You do have, I don't know if they know this, you can't throw to other players.
Yeah, particularly, you got like Logan Davis and who can do some things, but they're looking towards Hootman right now.
This one down the field. Westwood was running the route for him. That is a turnover. Big interception. This might be a pick 6. Jablon, the only one to stop him, and he does. Dropped his shoulder. But a massive turnover.
There's a flag way back here. Now, I don't know if this is going to be for extracurricular activity, and it may just be offsetting penalties, but it certainly is a post-possession penalty.
Some other Austin area scores for folks at home who might be interested. China Spring and Bastrop currently at the half, 34-21. Harper Heights is up over Manor, 35-0 in the third quarter. Cedar Park Vandergrift, third quarter, tied at 14.
Okay. That's a bit of a rivalry game there.
Yeah.
the 620 rivalry, I guess. Would you call it?
I guess that's the only other way you could call it, right? Also at the half, Anderson and Elgin. Anderson up 28-0.
Okay.
And then also at the half, Eastview up 21-7 over Burnett.
Okay.
Courtesy of Shane, our quality control assistant. This flag, they march this all the way back.
So this is a spot foul, looks like, for like a hold or, maybe could be perhaps a blind side.
That would be my guess.
Yeah,
because of the sudden change that you have. They marched it off from the 38 back down to the 28.
Okay,
10-yard penalty there.
So it looks like some sort of blocking penalty.
That throw almost from Jablon and had a receiver down there. Just kind of felt more like a frustration.
Yeah,
throw almost.
I'm going to see what.
I'm trying to make something happen, force it out there, and Westwood comes up with a turnover, but a costly penalty sets them back from really good field position, and Norrell is in trouble. They
Ball's out.
Ball came out late as he
Oh,
was trying to keep his footing.
They ruled he was down. Wow.
I'm guessing the knee hit when he put his hand down trying to stay alive.
Wow.
That's the only thing I can think of is that they ruled that his knee hit when he was trying to do that.
I guess that no one from the Austin side is of course the Austin sidelines is on the far side, so they really wouldn't have gotten a look at it. But I don't see any players that really protested it. But I thought the ball came out clean. But again, the official's right there.
2nd and 15. Cooper waits. Pass nearly intercepted. Kutzer has got to be kicking himself for that one. He certainly is frustrated. That was through his fingertips. Weston Franz is the one who makes the grab, and that'll be 3rd and 2 now. Pickup of 13.
It'll be 3rd and 2 for the Warriors.
Waits back in the pistol. Play fake, another RPO. This one, though, off the fingertips. They were going out into the flats, had him wide open.
Yeah, he had him. He had his receiver.
Ryan Edson just couldn't pull it in. And so with the incompletion, 4:01 to play here in the third. And Westwood is content to punt this away. The question will be, can they get this defense? Can they get this offense going, rather, I should say. Defense does their part. Sudden change, big turnover. You got to stop. Oh, they blocked it! They blocked the punt! The Maroons! Special teams comes up with a massive play.
Well, they've got an opportunity here now. Ball at the 30. Second time they had that initial turnover in the first quarter. That was at the 25, so this is just a little bit outside of that. But really the only 2 times they've had the ball in this area of the field against in Westwood's territory.
I mean, that special teams, that rush of the punter, they almost got back there so fast they could have almost tackled the punter and had the same effect.
Yeah, that was the slowest. Was that Holden Taylor that got the block?
I believe it was that Taylor got back there.
But it looked like that. It took a while for that.
It took a bit. I don't know if he couldn't find the laces or get it gripped just right so he could drop it the way he wanted. But the give to Childers on first down, picks up 3, brings up 2nd and 7. I'll come back in this eye. Strong eye to the right, 2 receivers left. Watley, the fullback, receiver coming in motion, is is Brady Ford. And the give, Childers bottled up. Dropped for a loss of a yard.
Just no room to run.
An offensive lineman, and comes a couple receivers here. Logan Davis, Jason Martinez, Lorenzo Hootman, and Brady Ford will be two of the receivers. Excuse me, no. Patrick Bird comes in. He'll line up as that other receiver. Jablon rolling left, just a naked bootleg, looking, gets in tuck it and run, and he will lower his shoulder and surge ahead. He's still short of the line to gain, but not by much. He'll pick up about half the distance needed, maybe a little bit more, gain of 5. That'll bring up 4th and 3 with 2:08 and counting. Maroons will keep the offense out there. Big test. They'll come out in the gun. 3 wide, 2 to the right. Jablon, quick throw left, and it is caught. That's a first down for the Maroons. He's been trying. Him and Davenport both been trying to connect with Lorenzo Hoopman. This time they do, and they're able to convert. And now the Maroons showing tempo. They're already back to the line. 3 wide, 1st and 10 from the 18. Snap, give, Childers. Dancing in the backfield. Childers trying to get the edge.
Yeah, couldn't get it.
And a stiff arm will get him forced out of bounds at the 20. I'll say at the 21.
Kind of thought he could have, perhaps a flag could have gotten dropped over there. I thought perhaps he got shoved already when he was already out of bounds, but there seemed to be a lot of extracurricular activity on the side of the Austin Maroon. Someone's helmet went flying off.
.125 and counting. 4 wide, trips to the right, snap. Jablon lifts one. Hoopman can't pull it in.
Looks like that throw was just a tad to the inside, giving the defender a chance to also make a play on the ball. It took a minute for that ball to come, to be determined that it was incomplete. Almost like the Westwood defender had more of a possession of the ball. Hoopman perhaps with the chance of knocking it out, but that throw's got to be more to the outside.
It was actually Martinez, too. Timeout.
Okay, Martinez
here.
Yeah,
I'm needing to grab my binoculars because apparently I can't tell Hoopman and Martinez apart. So I'm having to grab mine here. I hadn't needed them yet. Now I do, so we shouldn't have any problems now. Or as many. Well, Hoopman had been to that same side for the better part of the game. He kept thinking every time they go that way, Hoopman's over there. No, that was Martinez. Either way, tight throw, tight condensed area. Of course, it always is once you get inside the 20. And you mentioned needing to be outside. I think it also needs to be a little bit higher up, too. A little more air under it to allow Martinez to go up and
get
high point it.
Yeah.
Instead of that one coming down towards his chest.
And a little inside.
Yep. Which that's placement, and that's a tough, ball placement like that at this level, that's a tough ask sometimes.
Yeah.
Of course, as much as these kids get and start making it in college, maybe that's not as much of a tough ask anymore. I don't know. Well, here we go. 4 wide, trips to the right here. Martinez, that single receiver to the left. Jablon flushed and has to get rid of this one quickly. Smart play there. That defense got through a bit too quickly. Jablon scrambles to his right.
Let's send the field goal unit out.
And then he wisely just throws it away. Had Childers in the area, so there's nothing for intentional grounding. Plus, he was outside of the pocket. So this will be a 38-yard attempt from the left hash. And Peterson drills this one. It is good. So with 1:05 to play here in the third, the Maroons, they're on the board, 25-3.
Well, they don't come away with a touchdown, but get the goose egg off the board.
Sure. Got to start somewhere. Small victories. You get points on the board, you wipe off the goose egg. Had a nice drive,
Yep.
right? And so your defense now gets to take a breather, gets to get their legs back under them. Now we'll see if they can come back and feel a little bit more refreshed, come back and answer the bell, because this defense has been fresh. They've been
Yeah.
pretty good, but you leave them out there for long stretches, things tend to break on the defense, and things tend to break loose. So we'll see if an extended period in the middle of the third with them on the sideline will give them a little extra juice to work here against Westwood.
You know, earlier you mentioned the NFL being on YouTube. That's another notch in the belt for the league.
Sure.
They're starting to a couple of years ago started with the Amazon broadcast, and a few years back, I guess, with Amazon, and then I think last year's Netflix made their NFL debut.
They had
Now
the holiday
YouTube,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, they made the deal with YouTube TV because YouTube TV, of course, now carrying Sunday Ticket and everything else with that. So you have that getting poached away from DirecTV. And, that was a big thing at the time. I remember that conversation being what it was a few years ago when they had that, when the agreement for Sunday Ticket came up again and who all was going to be in the bidding for it.
Yeah.
And it came down to two big streaming providers, right? YouTube TV being the one, Apple Plus was the other one that was really into it. And YouTube TV, I guess, made the offer that they couldn't refuse, and you can see why. I mean, the subscription's like $300, $400.
Yeah.
To get it. Now that I think they've got monthly payments and everything else, what have you. But you have that of it, and, you get that. You have the Peacock and the NBC, Amazon Prime, Netflix is still doing stuff for it. But then you also have lately is this give here to Mahis, picks up about 3 yards. ESPN doing their direct-to-consumer line that they've launched this week, and as part of that, so now you can access ESPN, everything through Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So they got rid of ESPN Plus. It's now part of Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I best I can tell, we've already, because we had the Hulu Plus,
right,
with Hulu Plus Live, whatever you call it. So I've had ESPN Plus or whatever.
Yeah,
so
we had the same thing, and now though that you have that,
you can. It's more, I guess the offerings are more a la carte, I guess.
For those at home wondering, might have just happened. I don't know if anybody else heard the strange audio. Our crowd mic died. That's all that happened. The batteries died, okay? Well, and just like that, we talked about the batteries dying is the end of the third quarter. So 25-3 our score when we come back here to Kelly Reeves Athletic Complex in Round Rock. We'll take a quick break. Austin High extends a heartfelt thank you to our MVP business sponsors. Their contributions help us build momentum and carry on a new tradition under head coach Jason Cecil as Westwood with a big play here. And so we give our thanks, though, to St. John Studios, Z3 Real Estate, Terrytown Pharmacy as well, Nance Orthodontics, Plains Capital Bank, and Covert Auto Group. I don't think we have a graphic yet for them, but we get they get their name spoken out into the universe as part of it. I don't think we got the Covert logo put up yet, but we'll fix that in time for next week. Big play though, Edson was able to pick up a nice chunk of yardage. And 11:54 remaining here. It's a nice thing. We our crowd mic died, and the receiver up here died for us because we have the wireless, and the wired connection wouldn't quite stretch that far for the microphone. So we went to our wireless unit, which is nice, except when the receiver dies, and then it sounds like this because we're stuck in the press box, which is nice in and of itself at this time of year because you get the AC. They feed us up here, right, as part of that. The flip side to it is we're not outside, so we don't get the feel
that
of the
ambient
crowd
sound,
under our feet as a flag is thrown here as Mahesh runs in for a touchdown. I do not believe that will stand.
That's going to be a hold, it looks like.
Pointing towards that Westwood side. And there were 2 flags in the backfield, which sometimes it means there's 2 different penalties. Sometimes it also means they both saw the same thing. And that touchdown will not stand. And this will come back. It will remain first down.
About first and 20. So I get that game tonight. The NFL game tonight is in Brazil, I believe. Correct?
Well, they did that last year too. You had the Eagles and the Packers. They played that one in Brazil. They're playing as they continue to expand their international package. They're playing a game in Spain this year.
Yeah. Well, what I heard, Commissioner Goodell is they're looking to expand even more games, overseas games.
Well,
each year.
The talk, for a long time was putting a team in London.
Yes.
And what that would look like and having, as you expand, do you put a division over in London or overseas as a whole in Europe?
Because that's a hard, everything can be worked out, particularly when dollars are involved. But that's a hard ask if you have one team that's, 5-6 hours ahead of New York time, and the travel involved of a team either going over there or the London team would be coming over here, and the time that it takes to recover. But the NFL will work it out. They've clearly have global expansion on their
and one of the things they're talking or that is being done this year that I think it was done last year too is one of the teams is staying over there for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And they'll play 2 games back to back, although I still think they're in different countries.
Yeah.
But when you put the travel on a map, it's no different than moving from one part of the country to the other here. As you have it, it's a handoff there, picks up a couple yards. And so this Maroon defense, by the way, they gave up the big chunk, 20-plus yards. Now they're standing tall again, helped out by that holding penalty and doing their part here.
I'm wondering if that I didn't see the indication, but they looked like they stepped off 15 yards. So perhaps
I think they stepped off the 10, and then the last play they lost 5 more.
Okay,
and then they just picked up 2. So here's Cooper Waits, laser into coverage. Norrell gets away from Geyer initially, but Geyer able to just get a handful to Jersey and drag him down. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Looks like Westwood will keep the offense out there in the field.
Well, you're kind of in that, we talk about that no man's land, right?
Yeah,
you're just
kind
of in between.
45-yard field goal.
You'd be asking a lot of your kicker. You'd be asking a lot of your punter. It's just easier to almost treat this 4th down play as a punt in and of itself. You don't get a first down, fine. You still kind of pin them back.
Yeah.
You can just pick up a little bit of something. Waits looking confused, though. That play clock is running down. And Westwood will have to take the timeout because they cannot get the play in fast enough. So now they'll have a little bit of time to reconsider. .26 to go here in the fourth, but back to that NFL discussion. Of course, we talk about, they have a game in Ireland. There's a game usually in Mexico City.
Yeah.
There's talk we're going to have a game in Australia. They want to do a game in China and India, all these different countries, and it's almost kind of turned into, it's almost like the FIFA World Cup. We're going to start moving this around.
Yeah, moving
a little
around.
bit,
Yeah.
Or like the NBA did for a while. They'd always have a few games over in China, and then they'd move it over.
Yeah.
They'd have a little bit in Japan. And,
Yeah.
it's almost kind of starting to feel like that. Of course, college football not too far away. Of course, they always seem to have a game. They open up the season. There's a game played in Dublin, Ireland, and then you go along with that. Jim Harbaugh, the famous adage that he did at Michigan. They took all his players to Rome, and they had practice over there.
Yeah, over there. Yeah.
All that stuff. So it's increasing the popularity. As this is incomplete, would have been an impressive catch. But it will fall short. And in coverage on the back end, Donovan Hamilton down there in coverage.
Yeah, I think what's been sort of amazing in the not while we're on this talking about football and you referenced basketball, but I think as a whole, talking 10, 15, 20, certainly within the last 25 years, there's been such sports that were usually associated with specific countries, parts of the world are really now expanding out both ways, both coming, from the United States and also coming into the United States. You got, pressure
ball
there
came
by
out.
Westwood.
Davenport was trying to throw. And he got hit from behind. Westwood says it's theirs.
Referees did not rule. They're ruling it a fumble. They're not ruling that the ball was coming forward. So turnover there.
Davenport was winding up. Pressure off the edge. Knocked that one loose. And so the Maroon defense comes back
out on
out.
the field. Right back out.
Not even a play of a break. They gave up the long play to Edson, and they had this really good stand helped out by that holding penalty, but then all of a sudden you're backed up against the wall, and you start in that position.
Yeah.
Off the turnover. So Cooper waits out of the gun. He'll look to throw. Steps up. Here goes Cooper Waits. Waits will scramble in for a Westwood touchdown.
Well, they left a wide open hole for him to step up into once he couldn't find anybody open downfield, and he just took off and 25-yard scamper into the end zone.
Well, it's almost like all the route concepts all pulled to the right.
Yeah.
So you get. Which is not uncommon at this level, right? You want your quarterback only having to look at half the field. Well, let's have all our concepts, flow to
going
one
right.
side.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it pulls your secondary, it pulls your linebackers to that side. There's nobody left backside to stop him. And in that situation, like you said, Waite's able to just see it and take off. And extra point is good. 32-3 the score here with 9:02 to play here in the fourth.
That just to kind of wrap up that point I was making with regards to different sports. You've got here in the United States, obviously soccer now has become even bigger. I think
that's a really good example too.
Soccer now is really becoming part, and you could go into any number of reasons as to why, but the availability of all these networks and streaming options to be able to bring events from across the planet, from across the globe, bring them into the the States. There's cricket broadcasts that are being
Yeah,
in the United
yeah.
States. You've got F1's popularity that is really big now in the U.S. And F1's a sport that for outside of the last maybe 15, 20 years is really thought of as generally an international sport.
Yeah.
But now there's a big fan base in the States for it, and so it's interesting how it's a two-way street.
Well, and you kind of had two for a long while. You talk about F1 and Formula One. Of course, there was the movie that just got done not
Great
that
movie.
long ago.
Great
which
movie.
was a fantastic movie. As this return here comes out to the 27-yard line, 26 maybe where they officially spot it. Inside 9 minutes, 32-3 the score. But you have that aspect of it, and for a long time, I think a lot of people stateside just kind of thought, well, Formula One's just like another IndyCar type thing. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not that. It's not that at all, and it's totally drastically different. And I think what Formula One has done and the way that they've approached it, especially stateside, is to move it around to these great cities that are host cities for it. I mean, Nashville has played host to it. We've had some of it here in Austin where it's played host to it. And it's the other part of it, though, too, is they change that course a little bit every time. That it's never the exact same whenever they do bring that over here, as Davenport flushed out in a short pass and no whistles blew initially.
Yeah, it's a little slow.
Finally, they kind of called it off there, but initially that nobody blew anything, did anything to stop it.
He got up a little bit slow.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a late hit. He just it got taken to the ground with the defender on top of him on that right side.
You get up a little bit slower when the score is what it is.
32-3, yeah.
That, adrenaline ain't coursing through you. You're not in that big moment. You just need to put something together. Davenport, roll out, fires on the run, passes caught. What a laser.
Good throw.
Brady Ford doing a good job climbing the ladder to bring that one in. It's a first down for the Maroons.
You know what they've done a real good job with F1 is it's really a glamorous sport.
Sure.
Everything, when you just see Formula One, everything looks high dollar.
Yeah.
Very glamorous. And I can see the attraction that it has. But if you haven't seen F1, go see it. It's a great movie.
That's pass caught. Another first down on the side there. So another good completion. Good job, too. They're moving the ball.
Moving the ball. Yeah, getting Davenport out.
You talk about the Formula One aspect. Both from the movie aspect, I think they do a really good job of kind of painting that. And I think that's been helped, though, not just by the popularity of it increasing stateside, but you also have Netflix series Drive to Survive has been coming out, which is like, it's the Formula One brand of Hard Knocks, and everybody gets up for NFL Hard Knocks because we all know what that means. It means the season is coming. It's around the corner. Is Davenport in trouble? Ball came loose again, but this time I believe the Maroons were there and on top of it. There's still a scrum for it.
Yeah.
But it is one Westwood Warrior among two Maroons. And he was down there. I mean, it almost looked more like a dance-off the way he was trying to get wriggled in there to get possession.
Well, Davenport's taking some hard shots this drive. Another one there getting put down to the ground.
Down to the 7:15 mark and counting. We talked about the Westwood, the Formula One and Drive to Survive and all that. And MLS has kind of been helped too as Davenport throws an interception, trying to force that one into coverage. Hoopman was in the area, and I think at that point Westwood had seen it enough that they were ready for it.
They were ready.
They stepped in front, and with 6:55 to go, Westwood will take over, and Austin Maroon, actually they'll spot it from the interception where he stepped out of bounds. They'll be at the Westwood 47.
The world's a much smaller place.
Sure. Well, it certainly has kind of felt like that with social media, and you can interact with anybody around the world, and it continues to grow into that. And then you have MLS, all these MLS games being on Apple Plus. You can see that pretty well. And then USA and NBC, they're showing, the Europa League, the Euro League, all that stuff has been going on, and able to keep up with that. The Premier League, Champions League has been going on. I mean, so we go down to Dallas Fit, and walk in and over there in at Stonehill. And you walk in, soccer games on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Of course, it probably won't be on this Saturday morning. College football's back in full force, and UT's got their home opener. So maybe the gym will be a little bit emptier for folks at home if that interests you. It's just something to keep an eye on, that people might be at UT's home opener if for no other reason than to tailgate and celebrate.
But all these streaming options that have really become available in the last decade, they need programming.
Yeah.
And sports programming is pretty much tailor made for it. It's a fairly easy production. It's fairly inexpensive from a production standpoint. So it's allowed a lot of different sports.
Big run here. And finally, the Maroons able to take him down. Big run.
Well, it's going to be another tough loss for the Maroons.
Yeah, and it's hard to chalk it up to a few different things, right? You're held to a couple field goals last week, field goal this week, and flags are on here, some early movement among that offense. But, fans at home are going to be like, thinking, well, what happened from last year to this year? And, well, what happened is you lost 80 of your starters on the offensive side of the ball. You've had a change in head coach. You had change in system, and that goes with that. And so you're asking a lot of these players early on. I get it. When you look at the roster, you pull it up at home. There's a lot of seniors. Yeah, there's a lot of seniors. But it's at Austin High. There's going to be a lot of seniors no matter what year you open up that roster.
Yeah.
What matters is how much varsity playing experience do these guys have. And last season you had guys who were seniors, but they'd been playing since they were freshmen, and they've had a lot of varsity experience. Some of these guys, they don't have that same amount of varsity experience.
Not
and
even
they
close.
haven't had that. And so you're trying to get them that varsity experience now in these non-district games, which, by the way, add on to that, they've been on the road.
Yeah.
That New Braunfels trip is not an easy trip. No. That's a long trek. Then you come up here to Round Rock, and I get it. It's a little bit closer to home. It's a little bit more in your backyard. You're still not, though, in front of your home fans.
Yeah.
And you're not in the familiarity and the sights and sounds that you're used to, because when you're at House Park, you practice there maybe sometimes. You certainly have had scrimmages there. You know the layout. You know what it looks like. And it's not yours, and it's not your home. That plays a factor into it. Having to learn and think through the new terminology, the new skill sets, all that also plays into it. There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just so cut and dry as saying, well, Austin's just doesn't have it this year. Well, it's not that they don't have it. They do have it. You talk to Coach Cecil and these guys, we have it. It's there.
Yeah.
But we need them to flip the switch, and we need them to be able to play fast and loose as Norrell makes the grab and got a foot down, and they will roll that a Westwood touchdown. Wow. And so, and look, I know what the scoreboard's going to reflect. It's like, man, the defense isn't good. The defense is not your problem, in all honesty.
Yeah,
and it's not. It's the fact that the offense hasn't been able to sustain drives as much as you would like, that it wears down your defense. Your defense then, in turn, because they're getting worn down, is going to give up big plays.
Yeah.
And that comes with the territory. And Coach Cecil said, we're not really changing a whole lot of the defense. So that's familiar, but you still have to work through, as part of that, the lack of experience on the varsity level, and some of these guys are new. I mean, we look at the depth chart. I was filling out the depth chart earlier today. I'm like, man, I don't remember some of these names at all last season.
At all last year.
You know, looking at Cam Turner, Vince Geyer, these are names we didn't see. We
last year. We didn't call them last year.
You know, we didn't talk about some of these guys. So that comes with the territory. And so to fans at home who may be frustrated, I would say tap the brakes.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks. Let's slow our roll here a little bit because, and we'll pull up the schedule here for you and kind of give you a look ahead. As you pull up the schedule and as we take a look at what's coming up here, next week, Austin High, Buda Johnson comes to town. So you have a home opener. That one we know is not going to be easy.
Buda,
it wasn't easy going to
it
Buda
wasn't
last
either,
season.
No, it wasn't last
Coming
year.
Coming home to Buda is not going to be easy either. You've got Temple coming to town. Going to Temple wasn't easy.
Temple
but
coming in.
These are games that they're designed to challenge you. They're designed to be tougher.
Yeah.
You know, same reason that you had New Braunfels Canyon on the schedule, same reason that you have Westwood on the schedule. They're not meant to be easy. They're meant to challenge your players.
Yeah.
And so for this team and for these Maroons, that's by design. As Davis gets out here to the 31, you're now inside 5 minutes. Yeah, it looks ugly. It looks brutal. That's kind of a good thing for you fans at home, that when you look at it, I get it. It's, you know, going in 0-2, maybe 0-3, maybe even 0-4 into district play doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know, but that's okay because that even, and I understand it, some fans are like, well, what good does it do them to have their courage squashed if they're just going to get beat down? But we don't know that that's going to be the case. And to go on, we don't know what this team is going to be next week, 2 weeks from now, by the time we get to district play, you know? And so there's just so many moving parts and pieces with this as Coach Cecil takes this over and puts his stamp on things, and you try to develop this. It's too easy to be frustrated and point fingers 2 weeks in. Just tap the brakes, let it breathe, trust the process, right? And let things kind of work themselves out, because you get into the schedule and you get into district play. Look, and guys, if you need to feel good, look around at what happened last week in the district. A lot of teams that you know and love or hate lost last week. Westlake lost last week. How many times can you say that has happened?
You don't say that very often.
I think Dripping Springs lost last week, if I'm not mistaken. No, they won last week. That's right. They won last week. But, you know, Bowie lost last week. Aikens lost last week. Which some of those, I get it, you can probably expect. But there are winnable games on this schedule.
And just like last year, we were talking early last year that if you're kind of taking a realistic view of the season, you know, to get to that playoffs, 4 teams are going. And if you look at the way the district lays out, you've got your, you know, for lack of a better phrasing, you've got a 3-headed monster of Westlake, Lake Travis, and Dripping Springs. Okay, so that leaves basically one slot. We pretty much know those 3 are going to make it. So it comes down to who gets that 4th one. Last year, like we projected, it was a battle with Austin and Bowie High, and the Maroons got in. And so those are the games. You know, there's going to be 3 games out there that you got to try to get that are gettable.
I mean,
that are very gettable right now.
And it comes down to the same thing that, you know, we talked about last season, and as there's a big scrum here on the run, Jablon, again, doing some good work, moving the ball himself and using his legs. It's the old adage I used last year, and it's the analogy that I've kind of come attached to, which is, guys, it's just a game of musical chairs, and all that matters is that when the music stops, do you have a seat?
Do you have a seat? That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
The music is nowhere near stopping, okay? It's okay. Everybody take a breather.
It starts when district rolls around, and it stops when district ends. And just, again, just be mindful, look at the schedule, say, okay, we got to get wins against certain teams to keep that hope alive. So, and as you said, you know, playing a tough 4-game district slate, hopefully will parry it. It'll probably going to beat you down a little bit, but some teams will look a lot worse than what you're facing now.
Well, and that's part of it, right? That some teams are not going to look as good as they look now. The other part of it is this. This is going to, in theory, in the long run make you better.
Yeah.
Because that's the level of competition you need to rise to.
Yeah.
Right? That you need to get up to. And so that elevates and that motivates players to reach that point and reach that level. And we'll see if Austin High can. We don't know. We don't know what this team is going to be. A lot can change as Jablon laser here on the comeback route to Hoopman, but a flag is thrown here at the 43 of Austin High, 3:18 to go.
Illegal man downfield. Looked like the preliminary signal from the – because
Yeah.
I was wondering, I said, who did that official throw the flag on? Because nobody was in his area.
Right.
But I saw him with the signal for illegal receiver downfield, and that happens
Yep.
in this era of RPOs. Those offensive linemen, they're blocking. They're in run block.
Right.
And
And that is taught you move upfield.
Yeah,
Right?
you move
You're
upfield.
taught
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
moving upfield anyway. So it's, in those situations, it's on the receiver to get open quickly. It's on the quarterback to make a fast decision
Yeah.
and stick with it. And if you make it late, things
that
can
guy's
maybe
drifting
not
downfield.
go
Yep.
your way.
Yep.
So it'll be 1st and 15. Clock will resume. Jablon dancing. Fires on the run. Pass is caught. Logan Davis has it down inside the 35-yard line.
Maroons
And
doing
a
it.
flag
There's
is
a flag
thrown down there at the 31.
Now, certainly that's got to be on Westwood.
I would think so.
Maybe something after the play. Let's see what we got. There's certainly
I believe the early indication they pointed towards Westwood side.
some sort of spot foul. See if it's a personal foul of some sort. Well, let's see.
Oh,
Do we have a...
they were talking with Coach Cecil on that sideline, and
There we go. Dead ball.
sportsmanlike, and it goes against the Maroons.
Well, so much for that.
Well,
It'll be a first down, but it's going to move them back 15.
Yeah. But you're inside 3 minutes here, and so again, just positive building blocks, stuff
Yeah.
we can build on going into next week, and things we can take away. And again, this is part of the new offensive system. Some things may change. They may take some things out that they say, okay, this
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
We may, this group of guys, either it's not sticking or, it's not working. We can't execute. We're going to take it out. We're going to rip this out. Oh, there's so many things that are just going to change between now and the end of the season. Now, the one thing you talked about, the schedule, and compared to last year to this year, the break between non-district and district is not quite as long, I've
Okay.
noticed. And you get a really late bye week. Bye week will come with 2 weeks left in
Okay.
the season. So you'll have the bye, and then you'll have 2 games after the bye. It's kind of a late bye week into your district schedule. We'll see how it all shakes out and what consequences it may have, what consequences it may not. As Jablon showing off the wheels.
Good job getting the first down there on the scramble.
Tucks it, runs. Wheeling around. 2.5 minutes left to go here. Just a little bit over that mark. You might be able to get some of the Westwood marching band coming through the glass here a little
Yeah,
bit.
a little bit.
And play fake, little RPO. Davis slips 1. Davis slips 2. And finally tripped up by the 3rd. Defender of Westwood out to the 25-yard line. 2.5 minutes to go.
It was a nice pick up there. They've showed a little bit more in the second half, life on offense. Of course, Westwood probably is in a bit of a kind of a prevent, but
Sure.
I think Maroons are doing a solid job of picking up on some things.
Give to Watley. Owen Watley. Little shake and bake from Owen Watley, and he will drive his way down inside the 10. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout.
So he had a great slate of
You
Oklahoma.
do have that.
But boy, you had that first weekend where it just seemed like
You had Ohio State and hosting Texas. And,
boy, the LSU and Clemson was a great
yeah,
game.
Yeah.
LSU coming out probably, well, not probably. You'd have to say, given the circumstances of them going on the road, even more so than Ohio State winning at home, you got that probably the biggest win of the weekend. LSU getting that road win there against Clemson. LSU kind of came in flying a bit under the radar, if you can say that about a team that was in the top 10. But everyone was looking at the Texas and Georgia and Ohio State and even Clemson to a certain extent.
SEC play Oregon State and Oregon. That's usually a big rivalry that'll be on, or Oklahoma State, and Oregon. I take that back. It's not Oregon State, so not the big rivalry, but still you kind of get a nice little out-of-conference matchup. It's Jablon trying to turn the corner there inside the 10. Just kind of scrolling through the schedule here. Ole Miss, Kentucky. So you have a little bit of SEC.
Now,
play
Kentucky
this week.
pulled the upset last year against Ole Miss, if I recall.
Kansas, Missouri, maybe
Ooh,
quietly
boy,
not.
That is a
sneaky good game.
That's a fierce rivalry. I don't. If you know
Both
anything about
teams
Kansas and
unbeaten,
Missouri,
by the way.
they don't like each other at all.
So you get that on the schedule. It's a sneaky good game there taking place. Fresno State plays Oregon State. And miss, did he get in?
Yeah, he got in, didn't he?
Touchdown,
Sure
Austin High. Comes with 1:01 to play. Jablon able to work out into the flats.
Well, at least they go in, getting a touchdown.
Small victories.
Small
is the
victories,
word,
that's right. Small victories.
And so I get it. It comes late and you say, well, it's garbage time and all that, but it was earned. And above all, I mean, you work through it and you've gotten there. As the extra point is good. And so, again, it's just the drive as a whole, I think, is what you take away from that. You don't take away, well, it's a touchdown, whatever, it's garbage.
But
time,
what
whatever.
they did.
But the drive. It's the
the drive.
drive
It's
down.
the drive. What
that
they did.
You take away from that, and okay, there are a lot of positives here.
Positive.
Right?
Let's go back, look at the film, see what we did right. And you're just trying to build things.
Yeah.
You're just trying to find some building blocks, things that can work. Okay, we know we can do these things pretty decent to be able to move the ball. These things we struggle with, let's kind of lean a little bit more on this. And we had to re-kick because of a hold and a bad snap, and that's going to be a no good on the PAT.
Yeah, so it'll be 39-9 with 1:01 to play.
My Michigan-Oklahoma game could be. I don't know really enough about. Which sounds strange being a Texas fan with regards to Oklahoma. Of course, that's what happens with the portal nowadays. I mean, Oklahoma brought in a new quarterback in Mateer. I know Bryce Underwood, the whatever $10 million man for Michigan, is going to get his first big national TV debut.
And he'll get a big road test with that. And I think, part of it is to, looking at that, the interesting part of it is, well, they look, a certain way against Fresno State and everything else. Yeah, but it's Fresno State. Like, it's not Derek Carr's Fresno State.
No,
okay?
for
It's
sure.
not,
No,
it's not what
it's
it
not.
was.
It's not.
And so
It's not.
it's hard to kind of take anything away from that. This, I think, will be a much better test. Kind of like, Ohio State UT last week. And for that being as defensive as it was, I think people make of it what they will. I think the overarching point that has come out of it is it said a lot less, I think, about Arch and UT in the offense than it said about Ohio State's defense.
Yeah.
Which is what the big talking point was, that Ohio State's defense looked that good and they did a really good job disguising what they were doing and confusing Arch and confusing even Sark.
Yeah.
Steve Sarkisian there, the head coach over at UT. And so this fair catch signaled for. There we go. We'll get the words out. And the conversation of it, too, was those are probably the two toughest defenses either one of them will face all year. for that being as low scoring as it was. I will say, I think between the two, I certainly think that Sane handled that better than Arch Manning did.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that is because he was at home?
He was at home. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Probably helps that you have a Jeremiah Smith to throw to,
Yeah, good.
although he only
Exactly.
had he didn't do much and he
Yeah.
dropped a couple passes or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's probably a little bit more with regards to being at home, kind of more comfort.
I think that helped with it as part of it. You saw a sea of scarlet. You didn't see much of a sea of burnt orange or white or whatever you might do when Ohio State does come to town next season. But again, for two quarterbacks making their first career start, I think between just the two of them, first eyes, I think Sane certainly looked better early. I think Arch, it just took longer for him to get his legs under him.
Get it going.
Because he looked good in the back end of that game. But by that point, it was just a little bit too little too late because him and the offense were shut out with, up until, I think, what was it, the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter that happened. So
I think to wrap this up real quick, I think teams really going to struggle that we're used to seeing being real good for 15 years. I think Alabama's got they've got a difficult road ahead of them. They did not look good at all. Very unimpressive physically, but we'll see.
Well, the Nick Saban magic isn't there anymore. Speaking of magic, no magic miracles here to be seen tonight as the Maroons come up short, empty-handed against Westwood on the road. But again, as we talked about, lack of experience and a bunch of changes, it's to be expected a little bit. There's going to be some struggles. There's going to be some growing pains. This is part of it. So stick with it. Take a deep breath. Tap the brakes. Give it some time to let them figure things out and let these units gel and build some cohesion together. Next week, though, it's a short week. This is the other part of this. Next week, it's not a Friday game. It's a Thursday game.
Okay.
So we get the honor, Paul, you and I get to host on 9/11 because that's the way the math works on this. So we will have to make sure we will bring that justice. Man, it's crazy to think we're already back to that time of year already.
Yeah,
but we are.
Yes.
So we will be back on Thursday night. Mark your calendars. And again, tell your friends, tell your family. This is going to be up for 24 hours.